Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's discussion. Exploring dangers and ethical dilemmas that conflict journalists have to face, Avid Learning, in collaboration with Alliance Francaise, presents Conflict Journalism, Where the World Meets India. Conflict journalism is sensitive and responsible reporting on events in conflict-torn areas of the world. Journalism assists citizens to rebuild their society and to reduce tensions, or at least not aggravate existing divisions. Conflict journalism helps citizens live peacefully and move towards democratic institutions. Patrice Vanoni started as a freelance journalist for magazines, radios, and for the daily French newspaper Le Monde. He then continued his career as an international reporter and correspondent for French TV. For 30 years, Patrice has produced reports and documentaries covering major international events, political events, wars, and conflicts. His work has taken him to 105 countries. He has also worked to promote French films in India and as a cultural attaché at the Embassy of France in the United States. Dilip D'Souza, an award-winning writer and journalist who writes about themes like development, nationalism, science, poverty, and as well as travel and mathematics. His writing is fueled by travel, as he believes he must know and understand firsthand the issues he writes about. He has won several awards and has published 4 books, a monograph of essays on patriotism, and has contributed to a number of anthologies. In our panel this evening, Patrice Vanoni, in conversation with Dilip D'Souza, will explore complex issues, illustrating their views with a screening of their documents and retelling of stories from Venice's lengthy career.
Do I take this? After you. You sit here.
Shall I start? I want to say so I just want to, of course, I want to say hello to everybody. Thank you for coming. I want to say hello to Hassan and to the idea to organize this, Alain, and of course Thomas, who ran everything, all the video. And the things, and my uncle man, I can say, Dilip, and thank you for everybody to be there. And okay, then I leave you the lead of the discussion.
Thank you all for coming. I'd like to start by saying that while I'm thoroughly honored and privileged to be here, I'm not really sure what I'm doing up here. Because, Patrice has reported from, as you heard, 105 different countries, and he's been in conflict areas around the world like Liberia, Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan, and many more. And, there's a clip that you will see where he's reporting from, he's leaning on some kind of vehicle which has bullet holes in it, and you can hear the rifle fire in the background. That's the kind of stuff that he's done. And in comparison, the most vicious conflicts that I've ever seen are the ones in the first-class compartment on the local trains. So, well, I must say that sometimes those may be even worse than what Patrice has seen. So, seriously though, I mean, there's plenty to talk about, and I would like to hear, I'm sure you're not here to listen to me, I would like to hear from Patrice about his experiences, as I'm sure all of you are here to listen to him too. But I'd like to just set out one or two little themes that I hope we will talk about, and I hope that you will have some questions about as we go through today. Concerning journalism during conflicts, concerning the ethics of journalism during conflicts. In particular, it's often said that truth is the first casualty during wars. This has become almost a catchphrase, and there was a famous book called The First Casualty by Philip Knightley, which is about truth during how it goes for a toss during wars. And just for an example, during World War I, whose centenary we are now observing in 100 years later, the British accused the Germans of, I just want to be sure I've got this right. All through the war, they accused the Germans of boiling British soldiers' bodies to extract glycerine from their arms for their arms industry. And of course, this was completely untrue. There's nothing like this had happened. But it was so widespread that the Daily Mail managed to, in one article, call the German Kaiser at that time, they called him a lunatic, a barbarian, a madman, a monster, a modern Judas, and a criminal monarch, all in one report. So needless to say, of course, that was a lie. I mean, all this stuff about boiling. But that's the kind of thing that happens in journalism during wars. The truth becomes a definite casualty. So I want to start with a simple question, and maybe, Patrice, you can take it off from there. Why do so many news outlets find it so easy to lie during wars?
Why so many lies?
Yeah, why do lies get spread during wars?
Me?
Not you.
Come on.
Well, I don't. Why does it happen?
I think we have the first problem is to choose maybe the good side, you know, of the story, and you never know when you go, and if I can remember about Iraq, and we arrived in Iraq like through Saudi Arabia and then Kuwait, and Kuwait was completely destroyed. There was no power, there was nothing, and
this is the first Gulf War you're talking about.
The first, yeah, okay, sorry, the first conflict, and all the Iraqi, when the army of the Saddam Hussein, army, they burned all the oil field, and it was really terrible. I remember we could not. It was very difficult to walk, with the camera on the shoulder, and run in the desert, and nowhere where we go. It was very like I don't know, like walking in the dark, in the night, and so we were obliged to choose, a place to be, and I remember it was Fallujah, was with the Islamic. I mean, the Shiite, they were stuck there, and I remember the American, they let the rest of Saddam Hussein army, kill all the shit in Fallujah, and we could not know. We want to be on the Fallujah side, but maybe to be bombed by the Iraqi army, and I spoke to Schwarzkopf, the head of the U.S. Army, and I walked with him I remember, in the desert, and we were running on the road to Baghdad, and I say, General, we will be in when we will be in Baghdad, and he said, oh, we can be there tomorrow. There is no more Iraqi army, but we are not allowed by the UN, And I mean, 10 years after, they regret it very much, because they have to deal again with a new war, and to try to find Saddam Hussein who escaped and hide in a cave and so on. So it's very, when you are on the field, it's very difficult to understand where to be, and it's not lies. I think it's just you have not. You are not in the background. You are not.
You're right there on the front lines. You're saying.
Yeah, you are too much in the front line, too much on the spot. So it's very. It's not.
So in that war, you're saying that there was a lot of bombing. Saddam's army tried to kill off all the Shiites in Fallujah.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
So why did that happen? And you said that the Americans allowed that to happen? Why did that happen?
Yeah, because they had few years before, they had a big. They are still fighting against Iran, and the problem is do we let the Shiite and the Iranian take power in Iraq, and in fact they want to they want to fight against Saddam Hussein, but keep the Sunnite, you know, and not like during the Iran-Iraq war, you know, they were supporting Iran because and they were the worst enemy of, you know, there was a big Satan for, you know, when you see all the film now, what the
Iran was the big enemy of the US at that time.
Iran was a big enemy, but the Shiite in Iraq become friend. That's a big mess to understand when you are on the spot and you have to every day. You know, your chief editor will say, okay, you have to make a stand up. You know, in front of the oil field, you know, burning. You know, and maybe if you can have some army tank, you know, pass behind you when you do the stand up. Just a show, you know. And the American are. Maybe they record everything, you know, and they have I mean, they are very, very less than we do in live, you know, because of all the time difference in the US, you know.
Oh, I see. You mean the broadcasts?
So the broadcast everything, you know.
Not live.
Not live. Very rare, you know, or maybe the anchor man when he's on the spot and they know exactly what, but they don't trust very much their journalists, you know, and they maybe they trust them, but they have the ear, you know, and even when they are indirect, you know, they can have the chief editor in New York, you know, would say, "Oh no, you can say that. No, no, no."
So you never carried a earpiece. You didn't have a earpiece when nobody was telling you what to do.
So yeah, I tried to. Okay. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to work. I mean, to speak, you know. Yeah. You have some.
Somebody telling you.
You know, somebody who don't know anything. You don't know anything about the situation, you know, and it's hey, Coco, you know, if you can, maybe have some soldier passing behind you, or I mean, it's just.
Okay. What did you see, though, Patrice, as your role as a journalist in this conflict?
A witness. I mean, I'm sent by a national. I was working for the main European TV. I mean, TF1 is I was 17 years with them, and then after with Canal Plus, but mainly with TF1, and I mean, yeah, we are sent as witness of the situation. I mean, for the million of people who are just eating their soup, you know, at home. And they say, when I made interview with Gainsbourg, he said, you know, I am in the television, and the couple, you know, they are at home eating, drinking their soup, and say, Mama, look where he is. You know, it's some bastard, you know, trying to kill him, or I mean, they shoot on him or whatever.
But did you ever feel like you wanted to, or you had to take sides in the war? Did that ever come up? Did you have sympathies, whichever war it was, whether in West Africa or whether in Iraq? Mm-hmm. Did you ever feel like you had sympathies to one side, and if that happened?
On one side, yeah, maybe when there are too much, when there are innocent people, like you know, in Ethiopia or in Somalia, and you see all the politics, and with the help of the army, you know, trying to bring rice from France, you know. I mean, they collect rice from school. It takes months, you know. In France, it's a big campaign, or I mean, to bring rice by plane to Djibouti. This is you know, this is in the Horn of Africa, and then after to drop in the camp in Somalia, where you know, thousands and thousands of people were starving, and you see the you know, all the people die, especially, you know, the children, you know, because the warlord, you know, they were stealing, you know, when the boat with the rice to help the refugee or the starving kids, arrive in Monrovia in the port,
Mogadishu.
No, sorry, in
Mogadishu.
Mogadishu. Thank you very much. I mixed up with and in Mogadishu, and I mean they just steal the rice, and there is nothing. So I remember I remember that I was with Sophia Loren. I think. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. I mean, I was in a cab and she was crying, and I was crying too. It was difficult to see all these children, starving, dying, and so in this case, you are for the army, you support the people who try to save people. After there is a lot of political what we do in Somalia, and when the American land there, do they have maybe to let them all the warlords fight together, because it's endless. You can see now they are after boats passing in.
Yes, the pirates.
The pirate and.
But did you? What I'm trying to get at is that when you start having certain sympathies, do you start feeling pressure from the other side? Do you feel danger? Do they view you as hostile at some point?
Of course, because they see that you are not participating. Like the rebels. If you take the case in Liberia, so we are going to see some picture, and you see the refugee, and you see all the corpse of. Refugee of people escaping from Monrovia, and they have been killed by the rebels of the Charles Taylor, and the guy makes the interview, and he say, there are rebels, is why we kill them, and you see pregnant women, and you see babies, and nothing to do. So, and he say, he's with his Kalashnikov, and he say, okay, I'm going. Oh, you have the camera, so you shoot. Film, I'm going to kill him. So I put the camera, down, and he sees that I'm against, And he takes the guy in the field behind, and you can hear that he kill him, but you don't. You have the feeling that you don't participate very completely by stopping filming. You take kind of position, But
do you feel like sometimes these things were being done for the camera?
Yeah, of course. You can see, you will see the picture of in Liberia. You can see all the people there, like in this is carnival. They are just they stole dress in a house. Even in the president house. I remember. They have a lot of people. They have Hermes scarf because they work in one. On the Charles Taylor, Samuel Doe, the president's wife, and they find a lot of Hermes scarf, and so they were all wearing Hermes scarf with his $1,000 of dollars, but they have no idea, and they just.
Shall we watch that little clip from Liberia? Shall we, what you brought? Can you tell us a little bit about it before we watch? Tell us what we're going to see. And it's in French.
In fact, at this time I was a correspondent in Abidjan. And so I went through
Abidjan is in
Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire, and it's about you can say about two days drive. Very bad road. And so I joined the rebels on the road. About the first time it was about. 100 kilometers from Monrovia, and they were bombing. On Monrovia, and they tried to enter in Monrovia, but the president army, was.
And this is the rebels against, that is Charles Taylor's army?
Yeah, Charles Taylor was the chief of the rebels. He was working from the Monima, which is a very rich part of the country where it's very important, and his wife France was supporting him because it's a place where there's a lot of iron mine. And the only thing was still working in Liberia was this mineral train,
Okay.
from Monimba to the port of San Pedro or something. And so they think that they were supported by France, and on the other side you have the regular president.
Was that Samuel Doe?
Samuel Doe, and the American has a problem that they participate in the creation of. You have to understand that Liberia is the only country in Africa who has never been colonized.
Yes. Yeah.
Colonized, because it was founded by ex-slave.
Yeah.
Returning to Africa,
It's an English-speaking country, right? It's an English-speaking
Yeah,
country.
it's English-speaking. They have a flag with exactly like the U.S. Flag banner, but they have only one star in the middle. And if I was before, 2 years before, when it was quite peace, in the country, and the police look like a New York police, and the cars and everything, and it was quite a very rich country. So at this time, the American it's important to say that, because the American tried to take all the important people and maybe Samuel Doe out of the country, so they put how you say, porte-avions. A plane boat.
Aircraft carrier? Okay.
Aircraft carrier outside of Monrovia, the U.S. Aircraft carrier, and they try to take as much people, because they all have, many of them have American American passport. So they and maybe false and Charles Taylor, who is the chief of the rebel, in the interview, he said, we are not going to let anybody, and he speak about American, he said, we are not going to let anybody take Doe out of this country. We are going to catch him, or he said, okay, yeah.
So we can watch this. The thing is, it's in French.
Yeah. So
some of it.
So we need somebody. You can. Somebody can translate.
Is there anybody who'd be willing to translate on the fly? Or we can just stop. Could you do that?
Well, it's not very complicated. At the beginning you see the.
No,
this is the encore man. But at the beginning you see the.
Okay. There's not a lot to be translated. I've seen this.
No, at the beginning you see the refugee coming out of Monrovia, and the soldier, the rebels, stop.
Try.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, you can see it. You okay?
From the beginning.
And this is the encore man. He says there is a very exceptional document, and I will explain after. I will tell you.
Si vous dressez un bilan de l'abominable guerre civile qui se déroule au Liberia, les massacres se font loin des caméras de télévision et aucune autorité n'est en mesure de dénombrer les victimes. Malheureusement, celles-ci appartiennent le plus souvent au camp des civils sans défense qu'à celui des combattants.
No, it's too long. No, it's too much. I can't follow. It's too much.
So,
There's too much. Yeah, there's too much to stop.
no, I can't.
Sentence.
No, I'm going to sum up. I'm not going to translate everything. So basically, he says that there are massacres going on in the civil war in France, and most of the massacres, they take place away from the cameras.
Bilan de l'abominable guerre civile qui se déroule au Liberia. Les massacres se font loin des caméras de télévision et aucune autorité n'est en mesure de dénombrer les victimes. Malheureusement, celles-ci appartiennent
No one can say how many victims.
Le plus souvent au camp des civils sans défense qu'à celui des combattants des différentes factions.
And most of the victims are civilians, not warriors.
Le reportage que vient de nous faire parvenir notre envoyé spécial, Patrice Vanoni.
De ce qu'on voit que c'était celui de la dernière chance, avec à sa tête Jürgen Gell, l'ambassadeur allemand. Ce fut en tout cas le dernier diplomate occidental.
So all the last diplomats living in Moravia with the German.
A quitté avec une cinquantaine de personnes la zone des combats de la capitale libérienne, échappant ainsi à une situation extrêmement tendue.
He just says that they are evacuating because the situation is very tense.
Dans le convoi, une franco-guinéenne qui nous disait craindre pour sa vie parce qu'elle avait vu le charnier de l'église aux 600 cadavres.
So she's a Franco-Guinean and she said that she's fearing for
échappant ainsi à une situation extrêmement tendue. Dans le convoi, une franco-guinéenne qui nous disait craindre pour sa vie parce qu'elle avait vu le charnier de l'église aux 600 cadavres.
So she was fearing for her life because she saw 600 corpses being 600 people being massacred. No, she's just a Franco-Guinean citizen, but she happened to be there. Now she's fearing for her life.
Toute l'église, que des hommes.
Oui.
On marche sur les cadavres.
Oui.
Dans les écoles, que des femmes et des enfants.
So in the churches, only men, and you're walking over the corpses, and in the schools, only women, also the corpses.
Tout ce qu'on peut imaginer.
Tués par des soldats libériens.
J'en sais rien. Tués par des gens qui étaient habillés en militaire.
Ouais.
Pour l'instant,
She doesn't know who's done that.
les militaires sont...
Yeah. Yes, she doesn't know who has been killing whether they were soldiers or rebels. They were in uniforms.
Yeah, but they were wearing uniforms.
Uniforms, yeah.
Les soldats libériens.
Ouais.
Si vous me passez ça et que moi on me zigouille après, c'est vous qui en prenez la responsabilité.
Mais non, il va rien vous arriver, on va vous emmener, vous allez voir, vous allez partir.
C'est ça.
And she's very scared, so she said, "You take the responsibility of what I said. I don't want to say anything more."
Elle a pu partir, mais pas eux. Ils sont 3000 réfugiés dans l'ambassade du Nigeria et Charles Taylor, le leader des rebelles, les retient en otage pour empêcher une éventuelle intervention du
So these are like 3,000 Nigerians working there in Liberia. They cannot go away because Charles Taylor is taking them as hostage to prevent Nigeria from interfering in the conflict.
Nigeria ou d'autres pays africains de la CEDEAO. Les autres, ils sont jetés sur les routes sans destination précise. L'important, c'est de fuir la zone des combats par tous les moyens.
So the other refugees, they just flee all over the place. They always one thing in their mind is just get out of the combat zone.
En chemin, ils croisent les cadavres de ceux qui ont été abattus hier ou il y a une semaine.
And then all along the way, you have, of course, the dead corpses of the killed people.
Ceux qui ont été arrêtés à un poste de contrôle des rebelles parce qu'ils étaient d'une ethnie supposée.
Or they have been arrested in a control, whatever. All the refugees are escaping, and while they are escaping, they see either the dead corpse.
And on the right, there is a rebel, and he believes that this one is not of the right ethnic, you know, on the same ethnic like the rebels, and he says crown or whatever, and so he typed him, and then after they kill him because
in checkpoints. They organize checkpoints, the rebels, and then they.
But ethnic checkpoints, that thing.
Ou complice du président Samendo. Non, je ne suis pas crâne, dit celui-ci, espérant s'en tirer.
So he says this doesn't belong to that side, but to the other side.
He's trying to say.
Yes, he's trying to say to the rebels, no, I'm not from that side, I'm from the other side.
Yeah, you know, you can see the rebels with their arms. You can see the rebels with their arms, you know, and he protests. He says, "Oh, I'm not what you say," and but then after they kill him.
Et malgré leurs protestations, en face de ces jeunes rebelles souvent ivres et excités, ils sont toujours maltraités.
But in spite of protesting, you know, they've most of the time always maltreated by those young and drunken rebels.
They believe this guy. They believe he was an ex-army, and he can find his ID, you know, and they are brutalizing him, and you can see after it's horrible. You can hear the noise of the broken head, you know.
À cause de notre présence, celui-ci a eu la vie sauve, mais pour combien de temps?
Thanks to the camera, in this case, he was not killed on the spot. Maybe later.
Et puis il y a les oubliés de l'hôpital catholique. Devant la menace, Médecins sans frontières a...
And these are the hospitals, the forgotten sick in the hospitals.
These are, who are the people in the hospital?
They just say so far. He just says sick people, just normal sick people, but totally forgotten.
Évacuer les lieux, eux sont restés.
Ils ont amené les autres pour la première fois et ils ont promis de revenir.
Et ils sont jamais revenus.
He says they came. I guess they're talking about the rebels. So they came and they say we will be back, and they never came back. So they're just left to take care of themselves.
Why are they French speaking? Why are these people French?
That's a good question.
There was humanitarian volunteer, you know, and they were trying to help them, and then the rebels come and shoot on the hospital, bomb the hospital, and so they escape because the humanitarian they were risking their life, you know, and the guys say okay, they promised to come back, but they never come back. They let all the wounded people on the floor. You can see with the bandage and.
What year was this? When was this? What year?
What year? 91.
Okay.
91, 92.
Vision d'horreur que ce mouroir putride où les blessés sont abandonnés à eux-mêmes, pas mieux protégés que dehors, où au même moment, une vingtaine de réfugiés sont tombés sous les balles des soldats dans un caniveau où ils croyaient avoir trouvé refuge.
So he says on one side you have the wounded people left also by themselves at the hospital dying there, but outside it's not better because all these refugees have been killed, the last you see.
Mesdames, Messieurs, bonsoir. La bataille fait rage à Monrovia. La capitale du Liberia est livrée aux exactions des derniers fidèles du président Do et des troupes rebelles. Rien.
So he just says that now there's a great, let's say, sackage of the city from both sides. That's what he says.
Rien ne semble pouvoir protéger les populations civiles. Ce soir, TF1 est en mesure de vous présenter les premières images des combats qui se sont déroulés aux portes de la capitale. Notre envoyé spécial, Patrice Vanoni, se trouvait ces jours derniers en compagnie des...
So he says that Patrice is showing the picture of what's happening in the capital.
Les hommes du Front National Patriotique de Charles Taylor. Il s'agit d'un document unique et exceptionnel.
So he has joined the forces of Charles Taylor to make his report.
Encouragés par la radio des rebelles, les habitants de Monrovia ont ces derniers jours tenté par tous les moyens de fuir les combats et les massacres de la capitale, sous prétexte.
So the rebel radio advised people to flee the capital. That's why everyone is fleeing.
So these people are leaving the capital?
Yes, because...
Not to support anymore the president, and so the rebels say we are going to enter in the. And if you stay in the capital, you know that means that you are supporting the actual president. So they were all. And they are again checkpoint where they say, are you a recruit? Are you from the ex-army? And they are going to kill him also.
Est-ce que beaucoup de soldats de dos se glissent parmi les réfugiés? Les postes de contrôle se sont multipliés aux sorties de la ville.
So there are many checkpoints just to prevent
des bagages,
former soldiers from the president to sneak in through the refugees.
inspection des papiers et interrogatoire musclé.
Okay, that's
Une histoire qui pour certains se termine tragiquement. Il s'agit hélas trop souvent de règlements de comptes ethniques. Et sur notre route, nous avons...
So very often there's a final, a tragic final, as we can see, and he says also that very often it's not even political; it's the ethnical rivalries, being settled there.
So these were all shot by the rebels. These people.
Yeah. They are refugees, but just after the guy make interview, he say, "Yes, of course they are rebels," but it's not true. This is life.
Ici croisé plus d'une dizaine de corps. À la question posée aux rebelles et malgré la présence d'une femme enceinte, le rebelle va répondre ce sont des soldats pour la plupart.
So in spite of obviously being a pregnant woman, the rebels say no, they are all soldiers that we have killed.
Encadrés par des chefs hystériques comme ici Moussa et des commandants de terrain du NPFL qui affirment sans rire que les seuls massacreurs du peuple libérien sont les soldats de dos.
This is a rebel chief and he hysterically says the only killers here are the president's soldiers, not us rebels. Yeah.
Bien sûr, Charles Taylor. Quant aux troupes, leurs soldats sont en représentation permanente. Dieu, donne-moi le courage pour la bataille de la vie, dit la pancarte. Drôle de bataille pour ce petit soldat de 13 ans, au regard triste.
So yes, that will say that God give us the strength to go to battle, and you see that most of them are kids.
This is the rebels again.
Yes.
Qui aimerait jouer aux Indiens avec les autres. Et dans une usine d'embouteillage pillée par ses troupes, le chef Charles Taylor, dans un camouflage du dernier cri, nous a dit le sort.
So this is Taylor. I don't know which one, the one there in with the battle dress. Yeah. Yes.
Alors qu'il réservait à Samuel Doe.
We are going to try to arrest Doe to put him on trial.
Nous allons essayer d'arrêter Doe pour le juger. S'il veut s'échapper, il sera tué.
If he wants to escape, he's going to be killed, he says.
Nous ne laisserons aucun criminel être évacué de ce pays par qui que ce soit.
And no criminal will get out of this country. Yes, no criminal.
Doe sera attrapé par nos soins ou tué par nous.
So they will either catch or kill Samuel Doe.
By us or killed by us.
C'est tout. Charles Taylor et ses Rambo sont bien sûr persuadés que l'arrestation de Samuel Doe n'est qu'une question de jours. Mais sur le terrain, à chaque carrefour qui mène au palais présidentiel, les soldats gouvernementaux résistent étonnamment bien.
Okay, they think that it's going to be very soon that they will arrest Doe, but he said there's still fierce battle going on every time they're going closer to the president's palace. Let's say the official soldiers are still fighting.
Et ici, lors de l'attaque de la station de radio, les rebelles du NPFL ont réalisé que la guerre est une affaire plus sérieuse qu'ils ne croient.
So they were attacking the radio station, and I guess they had some casualties. So they realized that actually the rebels realized that actually war is something more than a walk through.
Voyez, et nous les avons vus plus souvent se replier qu'avancer.
So they've been retreating more often than going forward in that case.
This is the scene I remember.
Ici, dans les faubourgs de la capitale, on assiste à une guerre d'opposition où chaque camp tente d'impressionner l'autre. À chaque fois, on laisse des morts sur le tapis. La bataille.
So he says that there's a position war, and everyone is trying to impress the other one and show his strength, and there are of course plenty of dead.
Le Morovia sera long et la route du palais présidentiel aussi.
The battle is going to be long, and the road to the palace will be long as well.
So I just want to say one point about Charles Taylor, because he has been lately the first African president to be judged and heavily sentenced to 30 years in prison by
Charles Taylor. So what happened? Give us a history. So after Doe, Taylor won that war.
He took power.
Okay.
He took power. Some other rebels in the suburb. One is called Prince Johnson, completely crazy, completely stoned by grass and beer and drink, and he killed the president. He find the president trying to escape, and so he stole his car and he killed.
That's Doe.
Doe. And so Taylor can say that he did not kill him himself, but he let one of the rebels in the harbor area, because Monrovia is quite big, so Taylor was coming from the north, and Doe tried to escape from another part of the city, and he was killed. So Taylor took the power, and then he was internationally recognized, even by American. As he has a judgment pending for he was a crook or something when he was living in the U.S. You know, he was condemned to, I don't remember, something, or 1 year or 2 years of prison for grievance,
for some small crime,
money smuggling or whatever. Okay. And so the American, nobody remember what he was. He was.
So then, how was he brought up before the International Court of Justice? How was he brought to the International Court of Justice? Was there another coup in Liberia?
What the story? After he was involved. After it's complicated, because he was involved in another country beside, Sierra Leone, and maybe some of you have seen this fantastic film. It's called Blood Diamond, and in fact, Taylor was involved in this diamond smuggling for a long time before. It was how he get arms, and he pays. Sometimes we say they say that some country, like Libya and Gaddafi, was helping Taylor. And one night I was filming. I was with other journalists from a famous newspaper, Figaro and so on, and we were next to the airport, and we see Libyan planes landing, and bringing arms to Taylor. So I don't know if Gaddafi was giving the arms or maybe give a part, and Taylor was paying the rest of the arms, with the blood diamond, but. It was a strange story. So after it was so much money involved, and the international force, of Africa, support by American and by United Nations. They were so afraid, what happens I was there also, in Sierra Leone, with kids, the same kids you see in the Liberia war, with ethnic problem, and they were completely stoned, so you can see children that they have their sugarcane machete, machete, and so when they were arresting, they don't even have Kalashnikov or arm, only the chief, and the little one, they have only machete and sugarcane knife,
and they're fighting with that.
And they started fighting, and they were arresting all people, and when they were arresting all people, they say, okay, we are going to cut your arms, and one arm, and they say, you want a short sleeve or long sleeve? And if you say short sleeve, they cut the arm here, and long sleeve they cut at the. Yeah. And so after a while, all the international community and the UN, say, okay, we cannot stand like this. It was all the story about the blood diamond, and so they support, Nigeria and. I remember, I think Mali or some Burkina Faso, all African force, and finally they
arrested Taylor.
In fact, he escaped, with a plane full of diamond, and he landed somewhere in Togo, I think. And the president of Togo, he needs so much Western opinion and so on. He just give Taylor to the international forum. He just let them take to La Haye, to the International Court of Justice. And what is important is this is the first president in ruling president who has been judged by this international court since Nuremberg, since the end of World War II, when the Nazis were condemned to death, and about 10 or 12 dignitaries of Nazi Hitler.
Yeah.
It's the first time in so he's 60 years that they judge.
So he's been sentenced to prison, Charles Taylor.
Yeah. Now he's in prison somewhere, and they change him because he has so much money with the diamond and so on. He hide so much money everywhere in Africa. They are quite afraid that maybe they build up a commando to make him escape, so they change him. They never say exactly where he is. Sometimes he's in Holland, and sometimes I think they bring him to England, and then they change and they move him around. And always he ask him for grant.
And what's happening? Finally, tell us what's happening in Liberia now. What's the government there now?
Sorry, I didn't.
What is the government in Liberia now?
Now it's a woman. Very, very much respected. She has been studied in the U.S. and I don't know her name.
Ellen Johnson.
Johnson.
And is the country at peace now?
Yeah.
There's no civil war going on.
No.
Okay.
No, and it's quite a rich country because they have all this mine. They have a big forest, and so they make a big and they have this very famous rubber, Firestone. One city out of Monrovia is called Firestone.
It's actually called Firestone.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is from the name of the tire is from this plantation, and it's a big rubber plantation. And still, now there is no more war, so they can extract the rubber, and so there's quite, and so they have mine, rubber, and woods, and also they are very well known because they immatriculate ships, They put the Liberian flag on ships so they don't pay tax. So there is, I don't know how you explain that. And so
what's it called? Registration of ships is in Liberia.
Yeah. And they
make a lot of money from that.
In Monrovia, there like Monaco, or
it's like a free port and something.
Yeah, it's a free port, and there is a lot of company. It's just a mailbox, and it's just a huge petroleum company like Exxon, and a lot of American companies. They just have a mailbox. They pay tax to the government, and they just receive their mail, but there's
no presence there.
No.
I'd like to have some, if there's people in the audience, to ask some questions.
Of course.
But before that, I'd like just one last thing. Can you reflect a little bit, since you've told us a bit about Liberia, that whole part of West Africa seems to always be in some kind of civil war. It's happened now it's in Nigeria, it's been in Mauritania, in Mali, in Sierra Leone. So what is it about that part of the country, about that part of Africa?
Yeah, like also on the east part also with Somalia, Ethiopia, and Eritrea, and I was in Ethiopia. But I mean, especially on the west part, because the French colony, the colonialists, they just build up countries, just without thinking about ethnic, So they put by force, like they were at the power. They were French. They call French. West Africa, so like you see in Ivory Coast, there have been war all this last year because you have the north is Muslim and the south is Christian, and in Togo you have a stripe like this, and it's same people they call. One people are from the forest, and the other are coast are fishermen, and so they are always fighting, and even when the British come for they just land there for I don't know why, like in Senegal, they do this little stripe in Gambia. Just it cuts the country like the Portuguese do in India when they do just go on, but it don't cut really the country. But in Senegal, it's incredible. It's a very long stripe along a river, and people from the north, from the capital, they cannot go in the south of Senegal. They have to go by boat. And a few years ago, it was a big story with a boat who was fully over full, and then he sank because it was 2,000 people instead of 500. And I mean, even in their own country, they cannot go to see their family, visit their family, and so on. So it's just, I think, the responsibility of the politic. In the past century, when they build up this West Africa,
sort of artificial countries, the artificial boundaries.
It has no sense, It has, no sense, yeah. But it's almost the same in when the Italian. I have a good friend. Her father was ambassador in Somalia. He was Italian at this time. Yeah. And it was fantastic. She said when I grew up there, it was like a dreamland. I mean, no problem with ethnic, with starvation. We were going to the beach, and it was a beautiful Somalia. Mogadishu was a beautiful city, very, very rich and so on. And as soon the Italians went, they left all the rebels, all the warlords fighting together, and it became what we see today, with the warlord and the Shebab, going after Chinese ship, or like in maybe some ships. You have seen the film with Tom Hanks, Captain Phillips. It's very well. It's exactly like that,
Would you like to ask some questions? Yeah.
Sir, all this young people, uneducated, well-bodied, and why they are taking guns? One, and why do they attack churches, hospitals, and schools? How long does this attack last? So how does Sir protect himself from the conflict zone? How does he?
Let's do one question at a time. So ask us one. Ask me one question, and we'll pass it on to Patrice.
And can you repeat, because I cannot hear very well.
So can you tell us one question? I'll tell you. Yeah. What?
So these are young.
You can resume.
Able-bodied rebels, uneducated rebels. Why do they take up to guns?
Okay, can we try and get that answered? So he's asking all these young people you saw there, right? Yeah. And they're healthy and able-bodied, like he says. So why are they taking to guns? Why do these young people become rebels? That's what he's trying to ask.
Because Charles Taylor and the people you see, like Moussa, the one of the so-called officers, So they get box of Kalashnikov, of guns and so on, and they give it. It's easier to convince children who have no food, and and they just sing like I say in the story, like it's a carnival, and they want to play a cowboy of Indians, he has one or another with a mask, or another say, give me the strength for the.
So it's like a game almost for them.
I mean, it's a game, yeah. They don't, and they are completely uneducated people, And I see the same problem for a long time in South Africa. It's almost too lost generation, because they give them arms, and they tell them, no, you don't need to go to school anymore, because when we get power, you will get jobs, you will get money, and it was lies, it was lies, because today you see in South Africa it's only AIDS, violence, kidnapping, people, and all these people with guns, they are using it to steal money, and instead because they have no education at all. There's a big problem of education, and in Liberia for a long time, Taylor he can stand on a group of people, like.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
What's the stand now? Boko Haram. This is northern Nigeria, and I have been associated with Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Gambia, the old wave, 1964 to 79. And during the Afghan war, I was very much involved in the eastern Nigeria.
Yeah.
There are 2.2 million barrels of oil production every day, and the whole Western world came and sat there to exploit. Now tell me, what's the recent development of the Boko Haram?
Yeah, Boko Haram.
I mean, I get 300 young girls from the school.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they try to kidnap to make money. The problem of the Western, I think the problem with when they kidnap people, that in many cases that the Western government they pay for the ransom for the white technician or the oil technician and things like that. So now there is very little. There is no more people from Areva or So they just take regular people like they did in the past, in village against village, and they steal it since age, they do like this, they enter in a village, they rape women, they take the cattle, and they fly with the cattle, and now they fly with the young girl because they believe that Michelle Obama and everybody is going to pay, or to make a campaign, to pay for their own stuff.
Nearly 3 months, 4 months have passed, and these parents
but nobody, because now nobody want to pay, and the Nigerian government they don't want to give the impression that he is
giving in to these terrorists.
Yeah.
Alain, you were.
Yes, when you case like in the rebels in Sierra Leone, how do you get in touch with them? You have a local contact, or does it happen that you just go there to listen?
No, I just in fact they were controlling the border with Côte d'Ivoire. So I just went to the border city. It's called Danane, and I stand there for a long time because I have to send message to Taylor, and I have to. I film myself with and explain, I say a kind of message, and I send. It was a small camera, and I sent to Taylor, and one day I Maybe I wait for 2 weeks at least. One day they say, okay, you can cross and the border was almost controlled by the president army, So we have to hide, to go by the forest and so on, and we pass through, and then the day we joined the terror rebels, it was no problem. But after I have problem, I have problem when I went down to the south. It was in every small village there was a barrage, checkpoint. It was a checkpoint in every, and I have to give cigarette to every checkpoint to go back, And at the beginning I have a lot of packs, and at the end I was just giving a cigarette one by one, And sometimes they try to stop me. So one day I asked Taylor, I have a picture. I take one time a picture with him, and I say, okay, give me a kind of laissez-passer, or
like a letter,
just to show them, And he said, let Patrice go through your checkpoint. He is not a spy, neither a threat to our revolution. Okay. And I still have the
you have that letter?
Yeah, I don't know where because I am moving so much. But I remember I put in the back of a frame, and I have to find it. But I showed to some people, and it is completely crazy because the guy could not read, Yeah. So I show them the picture. I say, you don't recognize him? Is your
big leader?
Or you say your commander in CIC? Is your CIC? So let me go through, and I have the tape with me, because at this time it was not so easy. You have to go through all the checkpoint, go back to take all the road down to Abidjan, and in Abidjan I have the editing machine, because we could not carry the editing like you do today, and you have just a suitcase. You can shoot on the satellite like we did after in Iraq, or when I was in Afghanistan, or just I will say it's much more easier today.
Much easier now, yeah. You wanted to ask Leela, yeah?
I have a question about access. Since you've been covering Africa for so long, you got access to the rebels by getting in touch with Charles Taylor himself. What's been happening in terms of access? Do journalists now get access to Northern Africa, to Northern Nigeria, Northern Mali? Is that possible? Is access changing the way we cover these conflicts?
She's asking, like you were able to meet Charles Taylor, and you spent that time there and waited. So is it easy for journalists now if they want to go to northern Nigeria where Boko Haram is, or to northern?
No, because now Mali. No. All the people who make the go-between, they try to take money. Sometimes they are false go-between. They have not really the contact with the rebels, with Boko Haram, or with the I don't know, in Somalia with Shebab, and the risk that they take you as a hostage, and try to sell you, or we have seen with France 24 and from RFI the French radio. I know the girl and with her technician, they were walking to an official interview and get out of the interview, and they were kidnapped by a guy. He has nothing to do with and he just tried to escape, with the two journalists, and what happened? The car, the engine car was broken, so they did not know what to do with the two journalists, and so they think it's a good time to escape, and they ran in the desert, so they shoot them. It was completely stupid.
Is it more difficult now? She's asking. Is it more difficult now for a journalist?
Yeah, and I think it's also more
dangerous.
No, it's not. Yeah, maybe it's more dangerous, like you see what all these journalists who have been beheaded by Islamic State, and I mean because I think the big error is that some government, accept to pay the ransom at the beginning, and they officially, and it's a big lie, because they like France, they have a problem with Obama. I heard these days that Obama say, "Oh, you are not correct. It's not true that you are not paying the ransom," because what they do, like France, they always say, "Oh, we never pay the ransom for," but after you heard that Qatar, or some other country, Arabic country, very rich oil country, Qatar or Bahrain or even Saudi Arabia, they paid for the ransom. And what we give in exchange, nobody say, maybe the last Peninsula Hotel in Paris, by very, it's very bizarre, because Qatar is owner of about 60% of is the most beautiful 5-star hotel in Paris now. It's very new, and it was very curious. It was where the Vietnam peace talk happens, in next to Etoile, and it was a official. How you say, building, of the government,
And now it belongs to Qatar.
And now it belongs to Qatar. So did they pay for it, or did they pay through ransom for journalists? Because we have a lot of journalists this last year. We have about 10 journalists in Iraq, in Syria, who have been kidnapped. It's very curious that we are such a small country, and we have so many journalists kidnapped. I mean, it's 100,000 of journalists in Syria, in Iraq, or in Afghanistan. I met so many Spanish, German, British, American, and it's only 3 French journalists who have been kidnapped in Afghanistan. It's incredible. It's very bizarre.
So
yes, sir.
How do you sleep at night after seeing genocide and injustice?
He's asking, how do you, after seeing all these atrocities, all these killings and all, he wants to know, how do you sleep at night?
Very bad. I think, I have a big problem. For sleeping. I take some, and also with all the jet lag, because I've been in so many countries, and I was assigned in. I've been in India for 2 years, but after I was in Houston, Texas for 2 years, and before I was living in California, and about every month I was doing the trip from Los Angeles, and so I started with age,
But I think what he's asking is, don't all these, do these scenes bother you, and does it make it difficult for you to live your life ordinarily?
No, but I think I heard that I talk a lot at night, and I have some nightmare, but it does not affect me very much. But I spoke to the doctor. He said no, a lot of people talk at night, and it's not like I don't make war at night.
Anybody else? Yes, sir. Bye.
Speak about conflict journalism. That's only one part of it. There's another part which plays a very important role. Those are the photographers. When you look at Africa, was ignored by the world till the 80s. They only, after the African drought, you had many photographers and journalists who started going to Africa, and Africa was always ruled by dictators. And most of the Africans ruled by dictators. So I think when you speak about journalism, there was also a very important part that the photographers played, like the Spanish War. The most important part of the Spanish Civil War was the photograph by Robert Capa of a soldier falling. And if you look at Africa, James Natue had one of the most amazing images of an African man with a machete. So
what are you asking, sir?
Pardon?
What are you asking?
No, I'm asking that also, but you don't have to forget the photographers. You know, that's a very important part of the journalism. Now you have most of the time satellite radiation. You show them all through satellite. But most of the journalism which boomed up back in the 80s and the 70s, they were all helped through the photographers. Nicaragua was ignored.
So are you saying that now there's less photography coming out of, is that what you're asking? Is that what you're saying?
They should be given a credit also to photographers.
Yeah, okay, so he's just asking about still photographers. You had film, but he's also asking about people who took photographs. And that's an important part of journalism and war. So I think he's just asking about that.
So what is the question?
So yeah, what is the question?
Yeah.
It's just a comment. Okay.
No, it's just a declaration. I know it's important. I can tell you because I was that's for true. I was the only camera in movie camera. I mean TV camera when entering with Taylor in Monrovia. And it was put on the night news, on the 8 p.m. news in France, and the U.S. correspondent of the CBS they bought the picture at night, and they put with the time difference, and the day after it made the opening of the CBS News in New York, and it was their the country they support to found, you know. And they did not know anything about. And all my friends called me. They find my number by French television, and photographer from Time, from Newsweek, and they say we are coming. We are taking visa. We are arriving tomorrow. The day after, can you find driver? Can you find blah 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 blah? I say I'm not a travel agency. You just come and you try. And I don't think it's a good idea to take people from Côte d'Ivoire because there is an ethnic problem in Liberia, and you come with a driver and they will stop him at the checkpoint and you cannot go through. So it's better you go there and you find people to help you there. And I remember that I have a very good friend. He was a photographer for Time magazine, and even in Taylor, you know, he's very cunning, and he said, "Oh, are you a Jew?" He was just holding an American passport, but he has a name like Salzman or whatever. And Taylor said, "Are you a Jew? So I don't want you coming with us." And
yes, somebody else has a question.
In the era of Twitter and Facebook, how social media affect reporting, conflict journalism? Are there any effects or
are there any changes? Has it changed conflict?
Social media influence journalism, reporting.
Did you understand that, Patrice?
Sorry.
He's asking about social media, Twitter, Facebook.
Which one?
Twitter, Facebook,
Yeah.
Has that changed conflict journalism now?
I don't know. Maybe Twitter. I don't know if it works in such country. I don't know. I don't think people.
I think from Syria and from Iraq, there have been a lot of Twitter reports. A lot of Twitter people who are.
But is it the foreign correspondent or is it the local people?
I think locals also.
Local people. Yeah.
Iran a few years ago, when they had a lot of trouble, that was a big boom in Twitter.
Does it change?
The Jasmine Revolution. Yeah.
That is changed very much. I don't.
Now, what
information is credible, or how do you?
How he wants to know, how do you know that information is credible? How do you know that they?
Yeah. That's a big problem. I don't know how it works, and I think it's a big problem, and you don't know the origin. We know I know in France because now or in I can read in politics. All politics are tweeting or using Twitter all the time, you know, and after if is it true or not when they some people spot what they have said, you know, and say, oh no, there's somebody a pirate is a pirate on my account, you know, it's not true, I did not say so, or then or the day after they erase what they have said. So for me, you know, I mean, maybe I'm from the old school, but it is not a very truthful source, you know. I mean,
not reliable, not credible.
Source, because if you can erase what you have said the day before or say the contrary and or try to manipulate people with, I don't know.
Okay, Leela, you wanted to ask?
Well, you talked about a disproportionate number of French journalists who are kidnapped and hostages. I'm just wondering, have you ever used bodyguards in places like Iraq, etc.? Do you know, does budget have something to do with it? Have you attended any conflict management courses? You know, is it just a matter of budget when Americans don't get kidnapped because they go in with bodyguards and all that stuff?
No, I don't. No, there are maybe there are more. Yeah. I'm right. I think they are more cautious. I see the way they are organized. You know, when I see our work, a TV team. I was in Congo. I was in Rwanda when was all this killing. You know, and I see what the famous from CNN, the girl, Amanda Poor, and I mean, I see the way she walked. She was in a place, you know, and she was like you say, she was on the airport of Goma, you know, and we were crossing the border to Rwanda every day, you know, with cars on hiding in the forest and going to see the people who have been massacred. And she stand in Goma, but she sent people, and they do the right way. But they're on command, you know. I mean, she stand there, and she was very well protected. Even if she sleep under a tent, you know. I mean, it was they are very well organized, and even it's the same that they have always the good satellite and always the good link, you know, and so they can speak with New York, and they change the story, you know, with the opinion of the chief editor in New York. We say, oh, you better say this or this, and the same way.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, budgets affect journalists, I mean, whether a journalist can enter an area or not. And how truly independent are these media? I mean,
how independent is the media? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, budgets can influence whether I go, and you actually mentioned how the chief editor can influence what the journalist is actually reporting. In which case, aren't perspectives that have the money influencing what you and I see as?
Did you understand that, Patrice? No. So he's saying that when the previous question talked about how these other news outlets like Christiane Amanpour and all, they have all these big budgets. So doesn't that influence the kind of news that comes out of these places? The fact that the most powerful news agencies have a big budget and...
I mean, they have to be. I think they represent such a big media, you know, like CNN. I mean, my Anna, she is from France 24, and she knows because she our former president, you know, Jacques Chirac, you know, he was pissed off about looking at the time at the French TV, you know, when he was traveling, and so he said we should do a French CNN, you know. And it has nothing to do. I mean, she knows the story from inside. I mean, CNN is watch all over the world, you know, and so you never know. It's so much important. I mean, they get the source, you know, directly from the White House, or I mean, not the maybe I don't know, somebody very close to the president, so they can. And they are very cunning. I mean, they don't call directly. I mean, because what we call the third power or the fourth power, the press and the
fourth estate, they call it.
Yeah. And I mean, they are very cunning, and they are not calling directly the journalist or the editor, but they get the information.
So then, in that, are you saying then that does influence the kind of reporting we get? The fact that
what they represent, what their audience, maybe after they get the money because of the audience. I mean, it's just a circle, It's
Anybody else? Any last? Yes, sir.
What do you think of embedded journalism, and how non-partisan is that? Isn't that like a part of war propaganda?
No, I mean, is it right? I understand about embedded journalism. I can tell you a story because I was embedded for one time in Iraq lately with a U.S. Marine. But I want to do a story, because I start filming the training, in a base, in a U.S. Marine base, where I was completely free to do what I want to film, where they rebuild an Iraqi village, in the middle of the California desert, and then I was following 3 or 4 guys from Minnesota or from the middle of nowhere in America, and they were young Marines, and for months, I fight with the State Department, just to get permission to follow them in Iraq, and I know they have been sent to Iraq, and the U.S. Department said, no, you cannot. This is secret, and even their family don't know where they are. And finally, after a month of discussion, and I went to Washington, and blah blah blah, and finally they let me go to where was it, in Amman, in Jordania, and then they take me, and then after, I don't know, they take me at night from Jordania, and they bring me to the base in the middle of this. So yeah, you can say it's embedded, but it's just my work, because I fight so much for months to get of course I was embedded, but then I was with a guy in the middle of nowhere in Iraq, and I put microphone on them, and they did not care, and I record something incredible, like sometimes they were walking in some Iraqi village and say, oh yes, look at this bastard, I'd like to kill some of them, but the chief said, oh, we should not kill them, we just have to hurt them. And then I took the tape, and I hid the tape because I was afraid that they heard that I record such thing, and then I bring back to France. So you can be embedded. My answer is you can be embedded, and you can be, you are not obliged to follow the lead.
Okay.
What about the fear factor? Are you scared?
Are you scared? Do you get scared? Do you get frightened?
Yeah, sometimes I was still this guy scared me one night when we were lying on the road at night, and we have been watching the Libyan plane bringing arms, and he was very nervous, and all the guy around him were nervous, and they were smoking a lot of grass and drinking, and he at this time they were respecting more. Maybe today they will have killed us, but at this time they were. So it just simulate, that but it was at night, African night, and we were lying on the road, and it just armed the Kalashnikov, and we had Now I'm laughing about it, but we were not laughing.
You were not laughing.
No, no.
Okay.
You get paid well.
Do you get paid well? Do you get paid?
Not enough, not enough. I had okay, this is another story.
No,
it's another long story. After when the day you come back to the main to the TV, and they forget what he say on the news. It is exclusive and a very exceptional document and so on, and they put you in somewhere.
Okay.
And
well, let's take one last question.
You are not paid anymore. Like.
When you're reporting on Africa, is it any different for you when you're reporting on Francophone Africa? And are you able to actually break stories in Francophone Africa? To give you an example, in Afghanistan, for me to break stories, I'm getting US sources. Do French officials actually ever disclose anything to journalists? Do you get exclusives?
Do
you get exclusives from French officials in Francophone Africa?
Is it different, Francophone, non-Francophone?
Is there a difference between Francophone Africa and non-Francophone? So like Senegal
maybe it's quite different because we speak the same language, you know. There was what I say the West Africa colony, you know, all the I found a trick by be based in. I was living in Abidjan for 5 years in Côte d'Ivoire, and I was a big part of my job was going to cocktail and to all the because all the African ambassadors, they have an embassy in Côte d'Ivoire because it's one of the most important country and in Africa. And then so they renew my visa, and so I was after. Like I can speak to the ambassador, I can go to many countries during the civil war, like even Liberia or even Congo, and they stopped me. The soldier from the presidential guard, they stopped me at the border. I remember on the beach in Kinshasa, in Zaire, or in Congo Republic, and they said, "How you get your visa?" At this time you can put the local address on the French passport and say, "Yes, I'm living. Okay, you can go." And my friend in Paris, you know, they could not get the visa, and because the ambassador in Paris, you know, the African ambassador in Paris, where the money come from, you know, I mean from the Ministry of Cooperation or whatever, and so the president, the ambassador, he said to his president, he said, "Oh, boss, what I do with journalists?" Oh, he said, "Okay, this is the weekend, so you keep them the weekend, and maybe on Tuesday you start giving a visa." And I was there since 4 or 5 days. You know, I was first on many places, and I got exclusivity document. And my friends, they write me words, and they see me coming back on the river in Kinshasa, and say, "Oh,
Okay, I think we have to wrap this up. Thank you all for coming.